Are live. Welcome everyone to Shifting Lanes Garage, aka Shifting Lanes Live. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Wherever you're watching, thank you so much for joining. I am Chad, and with me is Gregson, who's that way.
Hello.
Hello.
I am here.
And welcome, Greg. First question of the day. How you doing, buddy?
I'm extremely tired, but I'm very good. Thank you.
Tired, I know.
How are you today, sir?
I am doing fantastic. It was a smidge on the hectic side today, but hey.
Oh yeah, same.
All good to get into stream, talk to Chad. Steve is already here.
That's right.
Thank
you. What's up, Steve? Welcome as always.
Nicely, it's a nice little distraction from the mundane.
Yes, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube on Shifting Lanes Garage, and on Twitch. Yep. So thank you all for joining us. If you're just joining us, or if you're just joining us for the first time, we sit here and chat with you guys about cars. So pull up a chair, grab a beer, juice, water, milk, whatever your beverage of choice is. Hang out. We're talking to you, for you, with you, by you. You know, this is not just talking heads talking at you. We are here to talk with you. So thank you for joining. Appreciate it. And we got some fun stuff to talk about, including our own cars. We're going to talk about something about John Cena. We were able to see him, so we actually found him.
You might see him in a vehicle that you might not expect.
Yes, a very unexpected vehicle, which was on a couple of different places. And then we're also going to talk muscle cars. So if you want to hear about any of that stuff, please stick around and hang out. And welcome, everyone. Yes. Appreciate you being here.
Justin's name is on the draft, and he's also here in chat. Good evening, Justin. How are you doing? Yes. So, what is happening? Already getting alerts.
So what's new? What's new with the Mustang? If you don't know, Chad has a very powerful Mustang now, and you've been driving it around for a couple of weeks. If you don't know, and you're watching this, or you're watching it later, or whatever, if you're not familiar, we have buddies over at Blue Sky Performance and Restoration. They are in a new town. I don't know what town it is. I think it's Andover, New Jersey, or Stanhope, New Jersey.
They're the same.
And they are a world-class restoration shop and performance shop. And Chad brought his Mustang there, and it now has around 700 wheel horsepower, just over, with a absurd sound. I've heard it in person, and it is pretty freaking fantastic. But you've been driving it around for a few weeks. How has it been after the boost, all of the tweaks, and basically just everything Jeff did to the car? How has it been overall?
So we've always talked about it. Doug is in chat. What's going on, Doug? Preemptive. That was a like, not a chat. But at any rate.
Yes.
So again, not to... a lot of our OGs are here. David, don't worry. We talk about anything, man. Chat kind of guides our way for most of this stuff. So don't worry if you're not a muscle car fan, because behind Greg is not a muscle car. We've owned not muscle cars. I got an American vehicle, the Mustang. I've had a BMW M3. I've had a Volvo. I've had a IS300 Lexus. So, I've covered the globe with my vehicle ownership. So, the Mustang, again, to those of you who don't know, long and short of it is that we added a supercharger and then rebuilt the entirety of the driveline, with the exception being the rear differential. But if you know the Mustang 8.8, it is a stout unit, and it didn't really need to be changed. We might change gear ratios on it some point down the line. The new transmission has different ratios than stock, so I wanted to drive that first and then get a feel for it if I need to go to taller gears in the rear. We've said this before. It's like driving a new vehicle. The clutch pedal feels different. The shifter takes some getting used to. One of my little tiny gripes of the whole thing, and this is by no means regret, if that makes... because the shifter is so much better when you're actually driving the car. But getting it into reverse is, it's not difficult. It's different, and it's like, hey, I know I'm in reverse simply by the rear view or the rear facing camera turning on. And I was hoping for a little bit more. The rate, the box, the rate or the shift is so much closer now, which is again great when I'm driving it. But reverse being so close is, again, it's one of those things where it takes time to get used to. I'm not used to it yet, but it's like reverse, no, reverse, no, reverse, yes, because the old shift lockout, you had the collar underneath the shift ball that you lifted up to get it in reverse. This one is one of the ones where you push down to get it in, and again, it's a bit of a learning curve. So, but other than that, I mean, the car feels great. I still have to get I still think I'm idling pretty rich.
Okay.
I have to get that looked at, but other than that, the car drives awesome. I mean, I haven't really had too much time on her, so to speak. Just yeah, right. Just simply because, like, when I do have time, the weather's not great, and let me put it this way: the few times that I have deployed close to the full fury of the engine, whether it be tire temp, whether it be schmutz on the road, it's a yeet yeet. So, like,
yeah,
I've been kind of
not fun.
I mean, it's fun. It's just not ideal. Is the best way.
I was gonna say you're not really controlling that, so
No,
that's pants browning as opposed to fun, especially in like cold temperatures.
Yeah. So let me put it to you this way: it's one of those things where, like, it's not quite Jesus taking the wheel; it's traction control taking the wheel. But
yeah,
I mean, you get wisps of the power. I mean, on times when I wanted to come out and pass someone on the highway or something like that, where it was like almost full throttle. This is like, let's go to like 60% throttle, and it's bye bye. So it's like,
yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have 700 horsepower.
yes, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And peak torque at 45-ish 100 RPM.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? The noises are different. I've mentioned it last week. I love the transmission whine. It's just enough. It's enough to make it give you the illusion of race car, but not actually being race car and deafeningly loud.
Yeah.
The blow off valve is actually another thing I'm taking some time to get used to. Because
more whoosh.
Well, like I've said, it's not so much like. So on a turbo, you have two ways of controlling what boost reaches the engine. You have the ultimate controller of boost, which is your wastegate, and then upper in the intake track, you have your blow-off valve. So when you lift off, you're hearing a combination of wastegate blow-off valve. So that psh sound or the psh, the wastegate flutter. You don't get the wastegate flutter, and it's not like I have a wastegate on my supercharger, right? It's if the engine's spinning, it's making boost. So it's, on a turbo car, it's what's. This is more like what's. So it's literally open the whole time. If you're in gear or under load, it's open the whole time, so you hear it. So it's a little. Again, it's something to take used to.
Gotcha. Interesting, but the car overall has been good to drive.
Oh yeah, I mean, let me put it this way: I've had enough of it. To where I could feel the I don't know why I did like the booby grab to feel it, but but yeah, there's a monster there that that I'm really looking forward to unleashing. Andrew over on YouTube, what's going on, buddy? How you been? Steve, I've eliminated where the stickers are not. I have a few more places to look.
I have stickers. So when we meet up with you guys at Carlisle, I will have stickers for you. So I found some.
Fantastic.
Yes. Like holding a bag of sand. A bag of sand? Come on, man. That's a
Silly.
great play. Yes.
So like you could tell it's an animal. Like it's almost like you could feel it's like it's got it. It's just waiting for. I'm waiting for the right conditions. I mean, I've driven cars with this much power before, and I really don't want like. I try to enjoy it where I can responsibly, but there aren't very many places out there that aren't a racetrack where you can responsibly enjoy 700 horsepower, which is something I knew
Right.
going in. But like the good news is, this past Saturday was opening day at the track we use, which reminds me that I need to get a fire jacket because
Yep.
they require aftermarket. That's weird. Because if you have an aftermarket power adder like boost, supercharger, turbocharger, NOS, that sort of stuff, you get you have to run a fire jacket. Justin, thank you so much for the stars. Way to keep your name right up there on our draft ticker.
And yes, if you're watching and don't know what this is above us, this is all the stars donations over on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook or anywhere else, stars are basically just like a digital gift you can give us to help us produce more content and do more cool stuff for you guys, like help to build Chad's Mustang or throw mods at this thing or do really fun stuff. With cars, and we appreciate all the support. So thank you, Justin, for those 100. Appreciate that. The first 100 of the night, and I'm sure not the last, because every time you guys donate, they do get funnier, literally every week. So
Yes, and Justin
it
was
is hilarious.
tame the animal. I shall use it wisely. Yeah, so that's basically the Mustang in a nutshell. And again, I'm still breaking a lot of stuff in. The clutch, like just again everything. When I get that health check done, I'll be a little more aggressive. I shouldn't say aggressive with my driving. More, all right, let's give it a little beans. That sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Greg, how's life in triple threat Volvo ownership?
Triple threat Volvo ownership. I mean, it's wonderful, and by wonderful I mean frustrating. So the way this car works is this is my 2016 V60 Polestar. It's fine, but there's a couple of issues that are going on with it right now. The tune is definitely a little jacked up. It's just a base tune. It's a stage 2 tune from Hilton Tuning. And I have not been able to get in touch with Hilton Tuning in over a month. I posted about it on a couple of the groups. And it seems that no one has been able to get in touch with him for a while. It is concerning because this happened many years ago, not many years ago, but a couple of years ago in the P2 generation Volvo community, which is like anything from like '01 to '07, specifically in the V70R and S60R community. Hilton's a big tuning name in that community. And he sort of disappeared for a while, which isn't great. And it seems like the same thing is happening right now. He's an excellent tuner, but the problem is no one can really get in touch with him, and that's not great. So what I'm trying to do is figure out if there's an alternative solution to that tune, because the tune I have on there right now, again, it's fine, but the transmission is shifting very roughly, and I'm getting a power plateau still. And I logged the car and sent it to him, but there's been nothing. So my quick workaround, and by quick, I mean I have to shell out more money, is there's a company called TDI Tuning or something like that. And they basically have a box that you can plug in. It's not an ECU tune, but it messes with AFRs. It messes with fueling. It messes with cam timing, and it messes with everything that you need to make more power to the car without actually tuning the ECU. So if you wanted to do this and then remove it, this is a traceless version of a tune essentially. But it has sort of a max that you could really kind of do to it without sending more stuff to the company to then retune it again. But it's a fairly cheap option comparatively to other tuning solutions with this car. It's about $500 with Bluetooth, so that you would get an app with this box that you can like switch between different maps. There's 7 different maps that it comes with. 1 is a very fuel efficient one, and 7 is the most power. And they claim 405 horsepower and 460 or 70 foot-pounds of torque, or pound-feet of torque, I should say. So it's a significant increase, and it's very good, and it would work with the downpipe I have on it. But it's another $500 that I would have to shell out to make the car run properly. The other thing is I want to flash this thing back to stock to make sure that the transmission is running fine on the stock map. It was in the past. I want to do it again, because if it's not, then it might just need a trans fluid flush, which would be a lot easier than getting another tuning solution. But also I just want to make the power plateau around like 4,000 RPM go away. So I want to flash back to stock, but the other part of that is I got a low battery this morning, so I wasn't able to. So I got to go to the dealer tomorrow, figure out the battery issue. Hopefully that's covered under warranty. I'll get a new one. Then I can flash the stock, then see how the car is performing and behaving, and then I can figure out another tuning solution. So with all of that said, there will be a couple of updates hopefully next week on this car with how it's been going. And to answer Doug, TDI looks super cheap. Is that good or scary? There are a bunch of people on the Polestar group that have run it for years with no problems. There are also people that said it made the car run a little funny, but quite frankly, my car's running funny with a $1,300 tune on it. So I'm disinclined to say that it's great or not great, but
did you just say $1,300 tune?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Yeah. Because there's nothing out there. That's the thing with Volvos in general. There's not a lot. There's Hilton. There's Vast Tuning for some of the older stuff. There's Rika over in Sweden. And I think that most of those tunes come from a guy named Tobias, but he's also an option overseas. And then there used to be a guy named Gustav from Contrast Tuning. That is now gone. So there's 4 options, and then TDI. So that's really it from what I've gathered. So if you have a small batch tuner platform, which Volvo very much is, and all those 5 things that I mentioned are across most of Volvos from the 80s forward. There was a guy named Steve-O who tuned my Volvo V70R. He's now out of the tuning game, unless it's a very special request. So,
aren't you very special?
I mean, I'd like to think I am, but Doug, thank you for the 100 stars to make it a $1,299 tune next time. Oh man. Justin, to answer your question, what's TDI? First thing I thought of was turbo diesel injection. Yeah, it basically is the same lettering, but it's not. I'm gonna bring it up now. TDI tuning. It's literally just TDI tuning. Performance tuning boxes. When people say, "Oh, I'm getting a chip tune," this is sort of what that means, but it's also sort of not. So you can go on their website. It's literally tdi-tuning.com, and you can sort by different manufacturer, stuff like that. So I can go to Volvo. I know you can't see any of this, but Volvo V60 engine, blah blah blah. Go down 3-liter Polestar, which is what I have, and it's I go with a fine tuning box.
Why don't
and then
you
it comes
send it
up
to
right
me
there.
and DM me the link.
Oh yeah, let me. I can send that to you, but we can show it to you guys. But basically, it is Basically, it's a plug-in solution without having to actually flash your ECU, which is cool. So this, yeah, there you go. This is basically what it is. That's what it looks like. You can kind of see it requires a bit of, I think, wiring or male-female plugging with wiring harnesses. It's not that difficult. It's people have said they've done it in about 30 minutes, so not that horrible. But $415 with Bluetooth. You're looking at about $475 with shipping, right around or just over $500, which to me is an appropriate amount of money for a tune.
Does this stay plugged in, or is it like an HP tuner?
No, it stays plugged in, and you basically mount it in your engine bay. They provide you with hardware and a bracket. You can kind of just drill it into a piece of metal in there, or you can mount it with whatever you want. I'd probably just zip tie it somewhere because there's really there's no reason to drill into anything. But I mean, the performance is claimed to be very good, and the reason why I would say that this is an okay scenario is because one of our buddies, Rich Forsyth, works down at Volvo Cars in West Houston in Texas, and another guy that went to the Tail of the Dragon with us, Kevin, had a V60 Polestar there back in 2019, and he was on a TDI tuning box. He said his Hilton tune is better, but quite frankly, I can't get in touch with Hilton. So this is a cheap alternative that I would use some Shifting Lanes funds for, and in the short term, it would be a good solution while I try to get the logs and the updated map from Hilton. So yeah, that's sort of where my car stands right now, but we'll see if it works out.
Did they give you any idea what's going on with yours?
Who, Hilton?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even get in touch with them. No one can. People on the Facebook group saying it's been radio silent since before January.
Because I wonder if it has something to do with the timing of so like I'll give you an example of what I'm thinking about here. So when I put the long tubes on the Mustang, they moved where the O2 bung is, and they had to program in the delay because it's traveling a longer distance. You don't think with like electrons as there being a delay of any kind, but like literally that millisecond can cause issues, especially in like the mid range as far as the power. It'll plateau because it's reading a different number and it's kind of freaking out, and so it's just sort of going safe there until it knows. So I was almost wondering if there's... Now, you said the O2 is in the same spot, and the wire is at the exact same O2 sensor. You replaced your O2 sensor, right?
Yeah, my front O2 sensor had the ceramic break on it, I believe, or something went screwy with it. I actually still have the other one sitting over there for a video that I want to make later. But the new front O2 solved that check engine light with the Hilton tune. So, and the car ran a lot better. So yeah, front O2 was replaced. Got the part from FCP Euro. So if it does break again, never have to buy it again, which is great. But that's now fixed, and the car otherwise has been running, decently. It's just the power plateau and the trans tuning that is still a little wonky.
Your ECU is a total unit, so it's an ECU and TCU?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I
believe yes. When we're tuning the car, there's the tune for the engine, but there's also a tune for the powertrain. And the way Hilton does it is he tunes the transmission mapping. So I think that the transmission mapping for this tune is just wonky.
Okay, that kind of answers that. If they're doing it once, so they're tuning they're tuning the transmission and the
correct,
management. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so the way it is when you put it in drive, it is a lot closer to sport than it is with a stock map. The throttle response is a little bit better. And honestly, when I first flashed the car, I was very happy. But, since, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, about a month or two after I flashed it for the first time, the transmission has just been not good. And the power plateau has been there since day one. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. As we go on. But there is good news to all of this. In all of this research, I found out that this car with an updated valve body can push 11s at the strip.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's good news.
Yeah, duh. I still actually, that reminds me, I still actually have that torque converter / transmission conversation we had with Jeff. Just sitting around, a 5-minute video that I need to put in something.
Oh yeah, I mean we could put it in one of our vlogs in the future for sure, easily.
Yeah, but I wonder if because Jeff's actually pretty good at reading data logs. I wonder if one of the days we're up there, like, hey, does this immediately come across as this is definitely wrong or something? Like, have him take a gander. I mean, it just sucks it just sucks that there's no real reliable tuning option now.
Yeah, I mean, the TDI guys are fine. And I actually called them the other day. They're based in the UK. Okay. And they'll work with you too, which is nice. So if you really want to take the car to a dyno, get a readout, and then send it back to them, they will work with you to retune your car, which is cool. And they may update future TDI boxes to help with that. So it's good. And the nice thing about that box is it actually adjusts on the fly for things that you do to the car. So I only have a downpipe right now, but because it's not an ECU tune, basically the box it's doing things before the ECU or after, or in and around, sorry, not in and around, around the ECU. So it's reading different parts of the car, right? The AFRs, it's reading fueling, it's reading power, it's reading cam timing, and it's adjusting all of those to make sure that you're getting the maximum amount of whatever you want based on what map you're choosing. So if you, say, want to include a new intercooler, well, obviously that would if you get an ECU tune, if you do, so an intercooler, an intake manifold, and an intake, well, you're changing a whole bunch of things to the car that's going to make it run more efficiently, a little bit cooler in the engine. Your temps are going to be different. Your fueling is going to be different because of what's going through. Your air coming in is different because you have a different intake, a different manifold. But with this TDI box, it adjusts those things on the fly because it's reading what's happening in real time and makes sure that your car is not only just safe, but also that your car is getting what it needs from a holistic perspective when you do those upgrades. But you can also take it to a dyno or just do a log on the street, on the highway if you need to do a pull, and you can send them the logs too. So they will work with you on making your car better, which is very cool. So that's also a reason why I'm like, well, if this is something that I go down this route, I won't get the upgraded trans tuning that Hilton could offer, but it will make this other option will make my car run a little bit better. And as a daily, I'm not exactly looking to put 7 million horsepower to it yet, until I can maybe find another cheap daily option and then go nuts on this thing. So I don't know. It's a good a good stopgap to wait for when Hilton does answer me, if he ever does, and then also save some more money for an intercooler and other things to help upgrade the car and make it a little bit quicker without going too nutty, if you will.
Gotcha. Now this unit is the Attaboy Mark, 70 inches of us.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You have to look at our faces in 70 inches of glory.
Oh crap! I hit the wrong button.
Thanks for joining, Mark. Good to see you. We're talking about the Polestar right now and the tuning, and I'm having tuning issues with Hilton.
So, is this TDI thing? Is that effectively a piggyback? So it's sending information to the ECU, tricking it.
I guess you could say that. I need to look into it more. I don't think it's doing that. I think it is. I think it's just reading the stuff. I mean, it might be. So let me just read what it says. Based on microprocessor architecture, the tuning box remaps vehicle performance moment to moment by interfacing with the engine via the custom sensor data connection harness. Following installation via the supplied engine-specific instructions, your vehicle's power will be increased by 59 horsepower and 105 newton meters of torque, making a significant difference to performance that you'll notice straight away. So it doesn't really say if it's a piggyback, but I would be willing to guess that it essentially is a piggyback. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I mean that kind of makes sense. Kind of stinks that you're there. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, like Justin in chat goes, I use a chip called Turbo Tweak for the GN. He has a questionnaire for what's done to the car, methanol, turbo size, boost pressure, camshaft, torque, converter specs, and he burns you a chip that replaces the factory chip in the ECM. The only issue is if you upgrade anything from stock, you need to get a new chip. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of that. I've heard of flashing, of like sending your like, so a buddy of ours had a 911 that he did full intake work. Well, not full intake, but had a custom intake, full header, high flow cat exhaust, the whole nine. And to get the tune, he actually shipped his ECU out, and they reshipped a new ECU. So sounds broadly similar.
Yeah, a bunch of platforms you have to do that.
So
I like how Steve reacted angrily to our live stream tonight. That's funny. Steve, I know you're listening, so thanks for the angry response on Facebook. That's good. Oh, hey, we got our first spam message over on Twitch. We're climbing the ranks.
yeah.
And thank you, moderator Chad, for clearing that spam message.
Yeah. Fortunately, it doesn't disappear on the screen. So, guys who are watching, let's get some chats rolling so that that.
Can't we refresh the chat on Streamlabs or something?
I can, but it might just
happen.
So I hit.
Oh, it might like crash it.
It might.
Okay, no, let's not do that.
Well, too late. I already did.
Ah, cool, awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh well, whatever. So let's talk about something else because I'm depressed about my car now. So I'll keep you guys posted with what's going on with my car soon. All of your stars are going to my tuning box. So we'll see what happens. First thing I got to figure out is my battery tomorrow to see if it's good or not. I just got a new one last year, so I'm hoping it's just replaced under warranty, or the car is just malfunctioning and they just reset the battery minder and then it's done. But I'll go over there and test it tomorrow and figure it out from there. But anyway, enough about my car and your car, which are good and bad right now. But we have a really interesting piece that kind of came out the other day. John Cena was on a podcast. I don't know what podcast it was,
right?
But they were talking cars, and he dailies a very interesting car. Now, for those that are watching, type in the comments wherever you are, on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Twitch. What do you think, John, without looking, and I know Steve knows the answer, but What do you think John Cena drives as a daily driver? Now, John Cena is a pretty big car nut. He has or did own a Ford GT, a new Ford GT. He has he was doing YouTube for a while, actually. I think with I want to say it was the Bella twins. I don't know. But he was doing YouTube for a while, doing like car stuff. But he's a car nut. He's in the Fast franchise now. So
which is surefire membership into Car Nut.
correct. Yeah. So like he's a big car nut.
He has a.
What do you guys think he daily drives? Essentially, is the question.
He has a V8 swapped MG too, which is like he's a big dude and that's a small car. Like
that is a small car. Yeah, he's not a small man.
Justin says probably a Honda. Mark says Volvo 242 GT. Or Justin also goes, or a Toyota. One Fast R, Toyota Camry. Hey, One Fast R, that's a new... I don't think I've seen you in chat before. Welcome. Thanks for
thanks for watching in on YouTube, dude.
But it's interesting to me. So, I wasn't a big WWE fan back in the day or whatever, but like I know John Cena had this shtick about him about being like his first thing was like ruthless aggression. Then he was, the doctor of thugonomics, and then he had the "You Can't See Me" intro. But fun fact, all of his intro music that has the rapping in it, that's actually John Cena, which I always thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But like the doctor of thugonomics, so to speak, drives a Honda Civic.
Yes, he does. But a very special one.
The Type R. And
yeah,
he goes on, and the reasons for it, it's like it's got everything you want. It's got space should I want to bring people along. It's easy to drive. He's like, I got all these other cars that like if it's not a special occasion, they're just a pain in the ass to drive. He mentioned the Countach by example. It's like that thing isn't. It's got a monumentally heavy clutch. It's not like it's just less than ideal. Or more than less than ideal. It's Countaches are a pain because you can't see out the back of them. They're just old school Lamborghini, and it's back when Lamborghini's like, you buy it to look at it, not to drive it, because they were fast,
right?
But they looked amazing, but they weren't. Well, they didn't. They competed with Ferrari, and they didn't, in the sense that the Ferrari looked a certain way, drove a certain way, made certain noises, but then also did crazy, ludicrous things like go around a corner at speed. For everything Lamborghini did in that, like the crazy Lamborghini era that we know them from, like the 80s and 90s and stuff. Lambos were known to be, they were cars to be seen in, not so much a driver's car. So it's
I mean, Lamborghini literally said that they designed the Countach to be difficult to drive because people were saying that their cars were too easy to drive. So Ferruccio Lamborghini was just like, okay. And he basically was just like, here's the Countach, and the rest is history. Like, it's a notoriously difficult car to drive. It's uncomfortable. It, like you said, it's difficult to park. It's impossible to see out of. I mean, it's a driver's car in the sense of it has a lot of sense of occasion, but by modern standards from like 1985 even and up, it is not a driver's car really. Like there are several other.
That wasn't 100% Ferruccio Lamborghini. Who the heck owned it?
Was it?
It wasn't, because the Halo V12 car from the Chrysler era was the Diablo, designed by the same guy who did the Viper, by the way.
Yep.
But it was, I don't know if it was under Italian. It wasn't that. There were these two brothers that bought it that were from a country you wouldn't associate with cars in Europe. But like you said, that car was an occasion at 5 miles an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one thing that I was not, I love, all right, first off, hang on, rewind, take it back. I love that John Cena drives a Civic Type R. I think that's hilarious and awesome because it's just great that, you know, a superstar with tons of money drives something that we all could literally go out and buy if we had the funds. And you can find them, you know, decently cheap now for the previous gen, like a 2020 gen, which is what he's talking about, right? So the one that has all the angles that everyone thought was super ugly. The new one's out.
A car they couldn't stop designing. Which
You're
is
right,
something,
exactly.
and this was we'll circle back to this, but something that was a bit of a debate in the Shifting Lanes chat, like just the chat between me, Greg, and Hanson, is something that afflicts Hyundai right now. They don't know when to stop designing the car, and they're not good looking. But anyway, Civic Type R, great car. Whether you like the appearance or not, is a phenomenal car. And it's just, I think it's hilarious to sit here and say that the doctor of thugonomics drives a Civic. Like,
I think it's great.
And
but that just shows that, like, what a car guy John Cena is. Because, like, I've driven the Civic Type R as well, and I maintain to this day, like, I've driven a metric shit ton of cars at this point because of Shifting Lanes, probably into the 200 and 300 realm, and a lot of them are performance cars, probably 50 or 60 different performance cars, and certain things like you expect to perform well. Drove both the AMG GTS and GTR versions, big GT sports car for them, multiple other different AMGs, many different M cars, supercars, you know, driven a Bentley, driven a McLaren, not humble bragging this, but like driven cars that are well up there in performance and theater and just craziness. I mean, I owned an Aston Martin V Advantage, and it's just very cool to own and drive cars like that. There are two cars still to this day that have just blown my mind for what they are. One of them is the Mustang GT350, the Shelby, because again, Mustangs should not be able to do what that car does. It sounds ridiculous. The handling is otherworldly. There's a reason why that car beats other cars in racing, is because it is nuts. And just in general,
racing cars don't use the voodoo though.
Version. Sure, but the platform and the car itself and the GT350 as a car, I got in expecting a Mustang and got out knowing that this was a borderline supercar. That's how good it is. The other is the Civic Type R. And, you know, it's definitely a front-wheel drive car, and you can kind of feel it when you drive it. But I was able to drive it on a clean back road, a gravelly back road, and on a racetrack all on the same day. And the way that car performed on all three of those different surfaces is truly mind-boggling, because it is a front-wheel drive car, but the torque vectoring system in that thing, it makes it feel like the front of the car is literally just pulling you through the turns. There's still, don't get me wrong, there's still a bunch of understeer in certain scenarios, but the way that car delivers power, puts it down to the road, and makes you feel like you can actually drive more towards the limit, that's where it's truly special, because that car gives you a much better sense of what a commuter car turned up to 11 can truly do. And that's what a Civic Type R is. That's what a lot of these performance cars are, right? And any M car, AMG, Audi RS, they're commuter cars, but you give them to your Skunk Works division in your OEM and your manufacturer sphere, and they go nuts. And that's exactly what the Civic Type R does, right? So it is one of those things that is just truly mind-boggling, and I don't blame him. The Civic Type R, the version he has, is utterly fantastic. Like, I would consider buying one. They're very cool. I personally like the design on them just because it's weird and totally overstyled, and I just find it funky and cool and quirky. It's very, very JDM, very very just strange in a good way. I like it, but again, that's subjective. The new one I think looks fantastically better, but yeah, it really is just sort of a mind-blowing car. And every one of his points is right. It's got 4 seats. You can bring people places. It's stable at high speeds. It's fun to drive. It's got a manual in. It still has a manual, and you basically can't find that in a lot of places these days. And it's a very underrated performance car because it has front wheel drive. So everyone thinks because front wheel drive you can't have performance cars. Civic Type R blows that out of the water. So I love that John Cena has a Civic Type R. I think that's just a true testament to what kind of car it is. Chad.
Greg.
Hello.
What's up?
Thoughts on that?
Hold on one second. I'm messing with.
I like that Chad just commented as shifting lanes, front wheel drive equals wrong wheel drive. Well, I, part of shifting lanes, am saying that is incorrect.
Actual shifting lanes has spoken. Sorry, there's something weird going on with oh, that's why.
With Chad.
There we go. Yes.
So
that's
all good. It's still there.
So, all right. So here's the thing. He just shows you the depth at which car guys are. What in the world was that? Something just beeped in my ear.
It's fine. Fix the problem, Chad. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah. So here's how I'll put it, right? He shows what a car guy is. So when everybody pictures car guys, they think we want the most lavish, most powerful, most crazy, over-the-top vehicle. In very crude way of explaining it, our cars are basically a cock extension, and therefore all this other sort of stuff. Like if you're a real car guy with money and you don't drive around daily drive like a Koenigsegg. I'm not saying people say that, but you get the idea.
Right. The general public feels that way. I agree with that. Like, oh, I'm a car guy. Oh, you must love 1,000 horsepower cars only.
No, because a true car guy understands, and it was part of the thing that I knew full and darn well when I was going through the build process with the Mustang, was that by boosting the Mustang, I am effectively making it too powerful to enjoy in full on public roads.
Right.
Whereas something with 300 to 400 horsepower that's small, lightweight, engaging, manual gearbox is way more fun to drive. And really, like, that's kind of the car guy. We want to have fun. So there's a bunch of different ways to have fun. I did the 300 to 400 horsepower thing for a minute, but whether it was when the M3 was working or when I had the C30. Yes, but you drive the Buick, Justin.
Yes.
Like those cars were don't get me wrong, Mustang is fun in its own right, just simply because of how visceral and raw and just untapped or the potential there for just crazy. But there's something to being able to go to your back road, like the Dragon. I'll use the tail of the Dragon as a perfect example of it. I would absolutely do that in a car like the C30 again. Would I do and be able to enjoy the tail of the Dragon as much with the Mustang? No. That's why, like, if I had John Cena's money and I was able to have both, I'd have a S2000 or just an S2000. The other two suck. But like you kind of get the idea. Oh, that's what that beep is. So like to show the depth of, and car guys understand that. So John Cena having the MG, having a whole mess of and with the 4GT, with other crazy stuff like a Countach and everything like that. It just shows that, if you go on a forum, thank you, Steve, for the subs, for Volvo. For Gregson's superb Volvo project, White People Problems, check out Prime Motoring. Pretty sure you've seen both. But
Yes.
it's cool to see
Thank
someone.
you.
Nate, thank you for the stars. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nate.
So
Good to
it's
see
just
you, brother. Thanks for joining.
it's cool to have like a real true blue car guy kind of explain why more power isn't always best. I understand. I say that with 705 wheel horsepower in my car. I totally get that. I totally understand that. That
Yes.
sounds a little weird, but again, shifting lanes has afforded me the opportunity to have various different types of cars.
Right.
Why not go for a something I've always wanted, right? And who knows, down the road maybe I'll get a fun small car again.
Right.
To answer Brett's question, I've seen a lot of videos of Mustang drivers losing control, showing off. Will I be doing that? No. Here's the bottom line. We've touched on it a lot here, and that is the people in those cars would wreck if they were in a Camaro, in a Challenger, in a Charger, in just about
Yeah.
any other type of car because they're idiots and they cannot drive. Steve.
Can't see me. Civic Type R, baby.
So, it's just, and it's cool to see someone kind of talk about it because you very rarely see car guys talk about that in such a way. So, like when you see like Tim Allen's car collection, you just see the crazy powerful stuff. When you see
Yes.
what's his face, Jay Leno is similar. Just he has all sorts of random crazy stuff that that thank you for the stars, Brett. I appreciate you.
Brett, thanks, brother.
It's
Appreciate
it's everyone, the internet, the way the internet is they'd rather watch something with a crap ton of horsepower or nothing at all. Like some stuff, if it's truly unique and different, Mighty Car Mods does this a lot with their cars. They don't make a ton of power, but they're doing something different with it, right? But in all honesty, hearing this, I mean, it almost makes me want to start saving now for the 510 build, because like
Yeah.
that's the can't like it's. But like I said, it's cool to see someone explain why more is not necessarily best. Like,
Yeah.
so,
Oh, real quick, while we have Nate on the line. So Nate, Sam, thanks for joining. Appreciate the stars. Thank you for 530. Huge donation. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it. Nate is also a Polestar owner. He also has the 3-liter. There is a bunch just we sort of already covered it, but just to catch you up, Nate. The Hilton tuning is basically gone MIA again. This happened back in like 2017, 2018, 2019 era in the P2 or P2 Volvo groups. A lot of people were like, can't get in touch with them, can't get logs to them, can't get tunes from them, blah blah blah. So it's been a struggle to get in touch with them. And people are saying in multiple different Facebook groups and on the forums that no one can really get in touch with them since January or even earlier. So I have a Hilton tune on my car, and I'm looking into other options. Probably going to go with the TDI box, just in the short term. Unfortunately, it's another like $500, 500-ish bucks I got to shell out. But it will make the car run a lot better. So if you are looking to get a tune, Nate, you can always DM me or text me or whatever, and I can help you out. But right now, it looks like Hilton tuning is not the best option due to communication issues. So that's what I'm sort of dealing with currently with my Polestar, and it is, it's not great. And it's happened in P2, and that's why other people in the P2 community, especially the P2 V70R and S60R, community were looking for alternative options back in 2018, 2019. So Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. And Nate just responded, I had heard he went silent debating a TDI. Well, if you want to, as soon as my taxes are done, which is either going to be this week or next week, I will know if I can purchase one with some shifting these money and a little bit of personal money as well. And I can be the guinea pig for that for you, and I'll let you know. But many people have run the TDI box in the group and in the Polestar community, as well as the P3 Volvo community, and said that it's been perfectly fine. And they also, I called them last week, just asked a couple of questions. They will work with you on tuning the car as well. If it's not running right, you can pull a log, you can go to a dyno, get some runs in with the car, log it on their software and then send it back to them. So they'll work with you on getting you a better tuned box, essentially. So it's not just here's the box and you're done. They'll actually help you out as well. So might be a good alternative. Probably not as good as Hilton would be, just because it is it's not a true ECU tune. It's a sort of a piggyback and workaround so that it's traceless, so that no one will be able to find out that if you actually tuned your car or not, because it won't actually log the ECU being tuned. But in the short term, I think it might be worth it. There's also RICA tuning, RICA, that does tuning to the ECU as well. So two different options. I think Chad is taking a quick fiver, so I'm going to entertain you for a little bit. But let's see what we got going on in chat. Mark, I am also interested in how the TDI box goes for you. From what I've read, and this goes back, a couple of years, TDI box is fine. When Chad and I went down to the Tail of the Dragon in 2019, and I had my V70R, he had his C30. One of the guys there that works at Volvo Cars West Houston, Kevin, he had a V70R, still has the car from what I know. He had a TDI box on the car back in 2019, and he's a lot happier with his Hilton tune right now, but he had that TDI box on his car for many tens of thousands of miles. So it's definitely a safe option for sure. But you're going to get people that complain about tuning solutions no matter what tune you get. Currently it's Hilton because no one can get in touch with them, but people also have been on the Polestar groups saying that the TDI box made the car run a little funny, or this, that, and the other thing. So there's also equivalent evidence on those groups saying that the TDI box is perfectly fine. So I will be doing that. I have a video out. I'm going to have a video out on the Shifting Lanes Garage channel tomorrow, just sort of cataloging everything I've been filming since September of last year with the downpipe issue. And it's not going to be a long video. It might be like 8 or 10 minutes maximum, but it's basically just sort of an update video. So like where the car is right now, which is what I'm sort of telling you guys. After that, I'm going to try to get the TDI box from TDI Tuning and then install it, and that'll be its own video, and then tune it. And then I'm going to take the car to the dyno and the strip, and I'm going to run a couple of different maps. At least this is the plan. Run a couple of different maps to see what the different power output is with the box. So I think that'll actually be a really informative video for the community to show exactly what you can expect from this tuning solution. So hopefully it goes well. The only caveat to that is I can't piggyback it with the Hilton tune. I have to flash back to stock, then install the TDI box, and then it sort of does its magic. Let's see what we got. Oh, Justin, thank you for the 200 stars, brother. Appreciate that. For the right amount of more horsepower. That's right. Because there is too much. There is a level of too much. I feel it usually peaks around 4,000 or 5,000 horsepower for a street car. That's around too much, I'd say. Joking, of course, but that's, yeah, there is a sense of too much in a car up the street, because on a back road, you can't really exploit 700, 800, 900 horsepower like you can on a track. That's why people always say Miata is always the answer, because on a back road, it's really hard to argue against a Miata or like a BRZ for fun factor, because they're cheap and you can really ring them out to get like the max value for your dollar. So that's why people always kind of say that. Let's see. Doug, in response to Mark, interested about the TDI box, goes for you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get one too. Seems like good bang for the buck. Yeah, honestly, I would say it is in theory, but I totally don't mind being a guinea pig for you guys. So don't purchase anything until I get it and then get it on my car. I can make a video for you guys detailing the whole thing and showing you what exactly goes on. I'll do like a 2 or 3, maybe even a 4-part series of like the install, driving it on the road, going to the dyno, and going to the drag strip, so that we can get a sort of a full-fledged scope of what exactly you can expect. And that way you're not spending your money. I'll spend mine / the YouTube channels, and you guys can have the information and do with it what you will. Let's see. We got Doug again. I noticed TDI for 3.0 has 3 versions. One for normal, one for Polestar tune, and one for full Polestar. At least that's what it seemed based on the horsepower ratings. Yeah, that's basically what I've gathered as well. There's sort of those exact 3 different options with the 3-liter engines. But they're located in the UK, but they do have a US number, so you don't have to do an overseas number or anything. You just go to their website, you can call them. I talked with a guy named Alec, I think ALEC, and he was super open about it. So they have a live chat on their website too. I think it's just a chat bot, but you can call them. They'll answer any questions if you really have any. Let's see. Nate, being 5,500 plus foot of elevation and 91 octane, my car is running rich. I'd like to see the change a TDI makes to the AFR. Hopefully it leans out. Yeah, I would say it probably would, because what they're doing is they're essentially real-time changing, like cam timing, AFRs, fueling, mapping, like everything. So the box is sort of reading how your car's reacting in real time and making sure that the car is totally safe. Let's see. Christian, welcome. Appreciate you being here as always, good sir. Steve, I see how you're talking smack. Smack, are we in high school? Yes, we are. We are always in high school. And then we got Mark, what a guy. I do what I can, Mark. I try to give back to the community. But yeah, all those stars are going right to that TDI box. I'll be perfectly honest. Except for last week's stars. Last week's stars are going to Steve's Carlisle ticket, that's for sure. Let's see. Still want to kind of throw a Nick Knight custom turbo in the V62. That's actually an interesting topic. Just until Chad gets back, is I did a little research, and I also talked to a guy named Matt Leavesley, and I believe he's over in the UK. He's been watching the channel forever. He's a great guy. He's done a lot for the P2 community and just the Volvo community in general, with trying to get as much information for our cars as humanly possible. He's been super nice to me, so if you had a bad experience with him, I don't know, but he's an awesome dude. He had said that there's a upgraded valve body for these cars, specifically the Polestars and the P3 V60s, that you can get an upgraded valve body to get a little bit more power out of the ASIN 6-speed transmissions that are in these cars and the torque converter. So there was a thread about Hilton Tuning being sort of MIA on the P3 modified group on Facebook. And what they're saying is that apparently you can get these cars into the 11s. So there was a guy on one of those threads that I actually asked for a receipt because there wasn't any, but he said he had run 11.2 at 6,000 feet of elevation. Now, until I see a receipt, I don't really believe that, but I mean, there's no reason to sort of both believe him and not believe him at the same time. So it's a very much like Schrodinger's cat at this point. So I'm waiting for an actual receipt. He said he would get one this year. If the car is tuned properly and the trans has enough, gumption, if you will, and doesn't fall apart, I don't see any reason why these cars can't run 11s. The engine reliability is there. There are, P2R Volvos that run 11s and 10s in some applications. There's one out there that's pushing like over 1,000 horsepower, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why I can't run low 12s or low 12s to low 11s in that 1 second gap of range. So we'll see if that guy ever comes back with it. Until then, I'm going to try to keep pushing this thing a little bit further. I'm thinking with the upgraded tune and the downpipe, I'll be into the 12s. I ran a 13.38 last year. I'm hoping to get into the high 12s. That's my goal for this spring. And then we'll see what we can do with a little bit more upgraded stuff on here if budget allows, and then maybe get into like the mid 12s this year. If more budget allows, maybe even into the low 12s by end of year. I don't really have a goal per se, but I'd sort of like to hit some targets. So my initial target for, first couple of runs at the strip this year is to go take this thing and get a 12.9. That's my goal. I don't think, close to 4/10 is a huge monumental task. With a downpipe and a tune, I think that's achievable.
I picked up about that with about 50 wheel in the Mustang. Given that you
exactly
better,
and now I gotta go check a kid. So it's your turn to entertain chat. So I will be back.
Fair enough. Let's see here. So I guess if Greg is going to be giving some goals, my goals for the year are pretty simple. 11s, mid 11s should be kind of doable. It's funny. I went back, no grade ever, Christian. I believe the grave is when those jokes end. I went back and I looked at video of some of my fastest passes, and I actually noticed two things. So number one thing that was costing me probably a 10th or two was deep staging, just being an idiot and not paying attention to my surroundings and double beaming. Actually hitting the first beam, hitting the second beam, and then going past. So how a timer works at the drag strip is it doesn't start timing until the beam can pass freely through. So when you hit that second beam, you're blocking it with your tire. So that extra, whatever you want to say, 6 inches or so or whatever that your car's rolling and the beam can freely pass through, that's when the timer starts. So you're already kind of moving before the timer actually starts. When you deep stage, it starts immediately. So the 13.0 pass that I did, for example, that's probably a 12.8 if I stage like a, intelligent person. The second thing that I noticed that was kind of interesting was my fastest passes were with the traction control on. I always ran with traction control off because the 1-2 shift, if I was launching in first, would chirp the tires a little bit. Not spin them, but just chirp them. But that chirp was actually enough. The TC was like, oh, no, and it would cut and it would go. But I was looking at it, but even with that, I was running my faster passes. I was getting better launches. The way a street car should sound off the line is you watch like a Cletus video and he's like, ba, 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 bang, right? Well, he even on his like slow cars, they're on a slick or a radial or something like that. And those are purpose-built race cars. My car might be crazy powerful, but it's a street car. So a street car should just be, it should almost sound like it bogs, but just climb up in power. So I'm actually looking forward to get back to the strip just to put those two to the test. I should be able to pick up a half a second with ease. Not to mention I'm probably going to be 10 to 15, maybe 20 miles an hour faster trap speed. So I think mid 11s is a pretty easy goal. According to the math with perfect density out or perfect DA or density altitude, my car should run in the 10s, but not on a street tire. You're just not going to launch hard off of a street tire on a prepped surface. It's just not it. So, Steve, sorry to hear about the internet, my man. Christian asks, what grade are we expected to stop making poop jokes? Again, never. To which Mark agrees. Growing up is shitty. Growing up is shitty. He just got his license to fly airplanes. What I miss? Justin asks, what tire am I planning on running? Right now, I'm on Nitto N5s. It's a street tire, not the radial. And I'm hoping to have Michelin Cup Sports on it. Oh, yeah, I did see that, Christian. Good point for Cletus in the airplanes. But it's a street tire, probably a Michelin of some assortment. Just because my tires still have life, but not much, especially if I go to the track and the requisite burnouts. Now, a street tire you don't do a big King Kong burnout on anyway. You just do a little burnout just to knock schmutz off of the tire that you pick up just driving. Like I noticed last year, I did a run without doing a burnout, and my tire, it was like ice. My car didn't launch, and then the 1-2, it got sideways. Now, when I say it got like sideways, I wasn't like, it felt more sideways than it actually was, but that's not a good thing when you're, putting all the power down. And that was with 450 wheel horsepower. So, but yeah, like I'm actually chomping at the bit because I want Greg to get the Polestar ready because I feel like that will be, so the most fun I have drag racing is obviously chasing a number is why we do it.
Yeah.
No, I was not aiming for the crowds, Christian. Although I guess if it got more sideways, it was pointed towards the grandstands, but not on purpose. But Greg gets the pole. So like our cars are totally different in how they get down a quarter mile. Greg's car will launch hard, put down a great 60-foot all-wheel drive plus, the majority of the weight being over the primary drive wheels. So Greg's car digs hard, and it's an automatic, so there's no
it's stupid proof. You just point and go.
Yeah, you're not manipulating the clutch. You're not this. It's just bang. My car slow off the line, comparatively speaking, but once she's hooked, Greg and I were talking. I think you trapped when you did your 13.2 or 13.3 or whatever it was. I think you trapped around 105, 110, if memory serves.
I think it was 102, actually.
Right. So I'm already, the last time I was at the strip, I was trapping at 115. So I already have 13 mile an hour on Greg. So there's a real chance that across the line, I will be going 30 miles an hour faster.
Right, exactly.
Which, again, the most fun I have is chasing down the car in front of me. Now, are we good enough to both get a good launch on the same? Well, Greg is because, again, it's point and click.
Right.
Am I going to be good enough to get a good race in? Because he's going to go out ahead of, and then it's almost like when I go past him, it's going to be like he's going to feel like he's not standing still, but it's just going to be woof. Like, so.
Yeah, it'll be a pretty significant difference. Nate, to answer your question, what tires was I on when we did our last runs? I'm on Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, which to me are the best street tire you can buy for summer tires. There are other good summer tires out there, but I mean, for all around performance, for wet and dry traction, you're not going to find a better tire.
Yeah, and that's, and also I'm going, when I get the, so I'm on 305, 275 right now is my setup. When I get the Michelins, I'm going to be 315, 285. Because I can.
Because why not?
Because, like, one, I don't like the look of it. The 275s have a little bit of stretch to them. So it doesn't, the car feels like it's raked a little bit.
Yeah. In
addition to, so filling out that would be, the rims I have on the front, or the wheels, could handle a 295, no problem. And the wheels I have on the back can handle a 335, I think is the max I could possibly go. uh, but I don't want to get too the opposite of stretch too much. And I know we've talked about it in the past. I've kicked around the idea of going slick, but that's down the road because that's like a $1,500 to $2,500 expense, and I'm not at the phase yet of the car or I'm not at the build part of the car where I want to purchase unitaskers, so to speak. So the Michelin's, I can go drag racing on. I can go autocrossing. That's one thing I want to like. I want to get the crew. The crew. When I say that the crew is essentially me, Greg, and Hanson, go do an autocross because I think that'd be hilarious. Because my car is not really well suited for autocross.
No, it is not.
But I still have power, so like I can make up for it. But like I still want to do something like that, and then somewhere down the road, I do want to do a track day. I've actually started getting into specifically Life Motorsport on YouTube, but as a whole, Time Attack stuff. And I think Time Attack would be a lot of fun. I really want to find a splitter for my car that doesn't require struts. Like, I really, really want to find a splitter that's just a clean splitter look. That's not with the little posts coming out and holding onto it, because I feel I feel like that's too wannabe race car. I say that knowing full and damn well I'm getting a massive rear wing. So
I mean, if it's functionally helping the splitter to stay on, I also just know that if you put a splitter on, you're going to be slower at the drag strip.
If I put a wing on it, I'll be slower at the drag.
Also true. Yes,
slower.
But still,
I fully understand all of that. Again, the car. This is not. Let me put it to you this way: if I go out there and knock my socks off and run an 11.3, will I be mad that putting aero on the car makes me run an 11.5? No, it's an 11-second car with downforce now. So
true.
So
which is very good.
Yeah, exactly. So circling back to chat, Justin, I'd like to see a 305 on the GN, but I'd rather not notch the frame. I'm thinking I'll go 285, maybe 295 if it'll fit. I mean, it's all things we fight across. Like, I think, Greg, you were saying there's a limit to how wide you can go on your car because of the way the fenders and stuff are set up and the inner fender.
Right. Yeah, you can't put anything more than a 10 millimeter spacer on my car, front or rear, or else you start rubbing. But the solution to that is just, trim the fender liners and roll your fenders. That's the solution, because there's just notoriously, you can kind of see here, there's not a lot of wheel gap right there. Like it's not great. This is stock suspension, so there's not a ton of room there, which it's good. It looks good, and these are the winters, right? So the winters, you get out of the way even more. The winters look really nice because they have a bit of a different offset. They're 19s and they clear with the brakes both in the front and the rear. But the summers are super tucked in. They have sort of a different offset. They have a positive offset, and or positive, is like a convex versus concave. So concave looks like this. Convex is the exact opposite. So the Summers sort of have a wheel that do this, and these are a little bit more flat. They just look very tucked in, and it's just a weird stance, honestly, with the Summers. These actually look like a lot better, quite frankly, as far as the stance is concerned. But what I want to do is I do want to roll the fenders, and I want to modify the fender liner to get like a 255 tire or a 265 tire on these. And just use my Summers as then and sell these, and then get like a really good dedicated set of Summers, like a BC forged or whatever. But I got to play around with the offset. But to your point, like certain cars have a limiting factor on offset due to rubbing, and that's rubbing on the fender or on the inside of the car. My old V70R had tires and wheels that would rub on the inside of the car if they were too wide or whatever, because of the way that car was set up. So you really have to make sure that when you get a set of wheels and tires, it fits the car appropriately, or you have to just completely modify.
Yeah, because like another thing I'm considering, and it's why another reason why I'm not quite ready for like a full drag setup, right? Or drag wheels on the back or something like that, is I still want to upgrade the brakes on my car. Now, the brakes are one of the most impressive things about it. But if I think who was it? Justin, right? Justin donated 200 stars for the right amount of more horsepower. Everything
Right.
about the Mustang is going to be more. So I have a 15-inch rotor now. The upgrade is a 15 and a half off, and it would basically the upgrade is going to a GT350 brake setup. Which is it required? No. Will it require me to have 20-inch wheels? Yes. Would I be able to fit a slick on the back? And no, not anymore. So like, it's all part of the game.
Right.
Like I said before, like if aero makes me slower at the strip, I'm okay with it. Because again, I want an all rounder. I think it'd be hilarious to sit here and say that I have an 11.5 second car that is a beast on the road course. Is like, wait, what? That Mustang's doing what? And autocross. Not that you get to aero speeds too often at autocross,
Right.
but like again, having big ass brakes to where that like they're like, wow, that thing stops like a freaking Miata with a big brake kit, right? That's all like part of the philosophy of it, and it's a total package, right? Like, I have a vision for this car, and I want to fulfill that vision. I also get distracted easily, which is why, like, depending, like, why I might end up with a truck as the big spend it at the end of this year, as opposed to, maybe converting the front end of the Mustang or something like that. But like, it's all part of it. It's all part of the fun for me. It's like, where do I want to make this car good? Like, honestly, to me, the idea of having a car as powerful as the Mustang, do everything as well as the engine produces power, is hugely appealing to me.
Yeah. I
Just,
mean, that's a big thing.
yeah. So, like,
So you're gonna say Justin?
well, actually, I want to. Mark was talking about tires. He had Pilot Sports when we got it. Replace it with a set of Achilles ATR Sports, and those were fantastic. On a set of Ositu right now, want to go back to Achilles, believe it or not. I actually had Achilles on. I think that's on my stock wheels on the Mustang, which, God willing, will be reduced to tire smoke soon. Justin goes, you know what makes your wheels and tires look really good on the car right now? The blue lettering. Good call from Shift Squad. Absolutely agree. If you guys have any more dumb ideas we can do to Greg's car.
Hey, if you guys are paying for it, I'm cool with it. I'm down. Just watch the videos on repeat every day, and yeah, I'll do whatever you guys want. I just need money. I personally have none of it. I have 2 kids. That's where my money goes.
Yes, so that's why. Actually, this seems like as good a place as anything. We do actually have an announcement. We're going to be touring colleges and high schools, specifically the tech departments, the auto shop departments, and be like, wrap your tool or your car is going to be slow. Not actually, but I think that's a good message to spread to the youth of today.
It's the message we all need.
Yes, it absolutely is.
It's not the message we asked for. It's the message we need.
Nate goes, I drove Peter's car, I'm assuming you know who that is, with 265s, and they completely changed the road course manners. Tires.
Yeah, so there was a guy, I think he sold it. His name was Peter Ontiveros or Ontivieros or something. And he wrapped it in this color that was very similar to like a flash green from the P2R community, but it was a little bit brighter, a little bit more like not as, if you can call that color dull, it was darker shade. He wrapped it in a very brighter shade of sort of that similar color palette. Really cool. And he had a splitter actually on it with the little crossbars to hold it up. It was a really well done car, and he definitely You could tell he rolled his fenders. He got a much wider track on it. It was a nice car, and he sold it to someone, and I think that person's in the Polestar group now. But yeah, so to Nate's point, drove Peter's car with 265s. They completely changed the road course manners. Like that goes for a lot of cars. You get a wider track on a car. Doesn't matter what car it is, it's going to be better
that was like the
for grip and performance.
The C30, when I put 245s on it, was like that. That's so much more tire than the power I was making.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, like this car with like 255s, 265s would be utterly fantastic. There's a guy in the Polestar groups named Jeff Reeb, and he's probably the guy that's doing the most to push this platform. He's done countless hours of like just random R&D on stuff, just on his own car because he races it at like Button Willow and Big Willow, which is cool. So he takes his car out, he tracks it. He's got a set of 19s on it. He has 275s on his car, which is crazy on this platform. His fenders rolled. He's got suspension on it. He's done chassis bracing, different suspension setups, different tunes. I mean, I think he's had his car for like 5-6 years now. So he's done everything to it that he, at least up until this point. And he's helped pioneer one of the trans coolers to these cars as well. So he runs 275s, and he said it was, and I've messaged him privately. He said once you upgraded the tires on this thing from a handling perspective, it is night and day. You get a wider track on this car and better sway bars. There isn't a better handling option upgrade wise than those two things. And I'm like, well, I agree. That's almost every car. You get a better anti-roll bar. You get a better track to then utilize that non-vertical but horizontal suspension geometry upgrade. It's world beating. It feels like you get a sports car handling scenario out of something more basic, which is cool. So hopefully what I'm going to do at some point this year is get this thing into the 12s at the strip. And then the next sort of step for this is I want to put sway bars on it. I want to put the strut tower brace on it. And I want to roll the fenders and get better wheels for it. Like that's my goal. I don't know if it's going to happen just from a budget perspective, but that's what I would like to do next with this car. Because then I have the power to get into the 12s and be super fun on the back road. Around that 400 horsepower number where most cars are the most fun on the road, that we sort of almost all agree on, like at that 400 to 500 horsepower kind of range. And then improve the handling, because it's just going to make the car more fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I try to tell people this all the time. If you want to change how your car feels in like the twisties when you're enjoying the car and stuff, like slap good tires on it. Like there's never a good lightweight set of wheels, and a good set of tires on the car will change the feel insanely.
Yeah, great. Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you. I appreciate the TDI box. It's slush fun.
Starts now.
Nice. That's awesome. Those 1,000 stars will go directly to TDI box, more modern performance logging, so you guys can reap the benefit later.
Absolutely.
What I'm going to try to do is I'm actually going to get that, and I'm going to see if I can get a discount for some of our viewers. So for those that do want it, like Mark has a P3 Volvo. Nate, you obviously have a Polestar, and I would pass that on to the Polestar and P3 communities as well. So I'll make the video, send it to them, be like, hey, we don't need to sponsor us or anything, but is there a discount code we can give? No. I mean, I would love to give them as a sponsor, but
let me put it to you this way:
give a discount code for the community. That would be really nice.
I mean, when we post Volvo stuff, it does pretty dang well, and like we were the Volvo guys for a long time. So I'm just saying, would they like to be the tuner of a Polestar that can run in the 11s? Keep up with a supercharged Mustang? Just saying.
Not a bad video series, gotta say.
I'm just saying. It's the marketeer in me going.
I would love for this car to be able to keep up with a supercharged Mustang. That'd be pretty nuts.
I mean, if you're thinking mid 11s and I'm thinking mid 11s, even though at the
It's pretty much there.
I mean, I think I should pretty comfortably be able to do it unless I'm more on launching. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's hysterical because it's like my car is all pomp and circumstance, right? There is not a damn thing subtle about it from a
Right.
auditory, from an audible sense, right?
Yeah.
It's loud, it makes all the noises, and then it's just like the funniest thing ever would just be to be like, you know, me like being the, you know, like recreate the scene from Fast and Furious where I'm in the Mustang and it's like, how much you got into that? And, oh, if you got to ask, you can't. And you're in the Volvo, and the Volvo just takes off like a
Get batted to hell.
yeah. There's something to that people like to see. Like,
Yeah.
going back to chat real quick. Mark, a truck sounds like the Mustang won't be a street car much longer. Not to disappoint you, it's not so much the Mustang being a track only car. It's the fact that it wasn't great in the snow with 450 horsepower at the wheel. We added a little bit to that. So,
Yeah, it's more about being safe in inclement weather.
yeah, pretty much. Steve's router's finally working. Fantastic. Let's see here. Some bathroom related questions.
Yeah, I've been monitoring chat. How did we get into toilet paper and pooping in chat? I didn't even. Where was that transition exactly? I didn't even see it.
Um, Doug goes, Chad needs another Volvo. Maybe someday. There's not a. How do I put this? Well, since it's just you and us, the OG Shift Squad guys, and possibly one or two others, I'll be perfectly honest. The whole reason I bought a Volvo was a business play. And the whole reason I bought a C30 was because it was based on it shared the platform with the Focus, and I used to have a Focus, like back in high school, college days.
So there was a bit of nostalgia.
So, like, yeah, like there was something to it. Now, don't get me wrong, the C30 was a great car. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people with it, like I say all the time. The people I met along the way with the C30 was more memorable than the C30 itself. If you own a C30, I apologize if that seems like I'm talking down. It's not. They're great cars. They're fun cars. But I put this question to a lot of people. If you had the option between a C30 and your dream build, which one are you taking?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and I'd say that's a general thing about Volvos in overall, right? Like they're good cars, but the enthusiasm is there, but it's not at the same fever pitch as, say, the Mustang crowd or the M3 crowd. Like there's obviously enthusiasm for it, and like I'm a big enthusiast for Volvos, but like I also get it that they're a bit of an acquired taste too.
Right. It's so. I guess acquired. I don't know if acquired might be
to
the right
be
way.
Truly enthusiastic about them is an acquired taste.
Right. I think there's a sense of being different. Like I think what's Doug said it best. Like you never hear someone brag about beating a Volvo, but it's fun to brag when your Volvo beats someone. And that sleeper appeal to it, I get. But I guess the kind of point I'm making to both of Doug's comments is I have to find a Volvo. The Volvo project I would be interested in doing, and it kind of goes with Justin's comment about being 100% behind Volvo swap or Coyote swapping a Volvo, is it would have to be something on that level. I'm actually more interested in taking a Volvo powertrain and putting it in something not Volvo. I've said this, I don't know how many different times on chat or on stream. I would love to get like a white block or even the motor out of your car or something, but more of a white block just because it has a longer history and stuff, and slap that in an MR2. Like imagine your V70R, that noise in an MR2. Like a second gen MR2.
Yeah, that'd be nasty.
That's insane to me. Like that's where my brain originally goes. Like I thought about doing so like the only other thing my head kind of goes to is 240 GTO. Oh shoot, that's an actual GTO. The other thing is like taking an old 240 and doing something akin to like this with it. And of course I click on the picture and it open in new tab. Like the Ash Thorpe like reimagining like the old like 80s IMSA GTO vibes and putting it like, would it be this extreme? No, but it's something like that. Like imagine like a fully built Coyote NA built with one thing in mind, maximum rev. So you can get the Coyotes to go almost to $8,000 with headwork and just they go to 7,500 already. Like it's just the way they are. But I think that is something that like gets my, you know, and it could almost apply to anything. Like it's just that's where I'm at with like Volvo ownership. Like it would just have to be something too extreme for my wallet is basically the end of it.
Right. Yeah, like I agree there. I think a white block in something old would be really cool, like an MG, because 300 horsepower in an older light car. MG, Lotus Elise is a great one. MR2.
Pontiac
there's a ton of different. I mean, honestly, yeah, a white block and a Fiero would be a riot. Almost any '80s Porsche with a blown motor, like white block and a 944 would be a freaking fantastic.
White block and 911, they K-swap the fuckers, so.
Right, exactly.
You know.
I mean, they throw LXs in 911s. Why not a white block? I mean, it with enough money, anything can be done. Like, but the white block motor specifically, the 2.3s, the 2.4s, and the 2.5s, any of those honestly would be friggin' phenomenal in any of those older cars. And as we know, with block shims and a hybrid turbo, you can push 400 horsepower out of a white block in an old lightweight sports car. Sounds just like the best time ever.
Right, and it's what kind of makes it cool. Like to me, the most interesting thing about Volvo is the engines. Like you have the white blocks, then you have the straight six in yours where all the accessories hang off the back of the motor. I think that's crazy interesting.
It's so weird, but so like quirky and cool.
And like Mark, I get it. C30 because it's one of my dream builds, one of quite a few, which I totally get. I totally get the appeal of the C30 because it's like for me at least, the process of it is kind of Lego-ish, right? You can all-wheel drive. You can make one all-wheel drive, and it's not insanely difficult to do. It's not easy, don't get me wrong, but it's not like all-wheel driving. I don't know, like we talked about last week, Mustang. Like it's
right,
and like and Doug. It's sure there are better choices for performance than Volvo. It's a quirky group, but I think that's what makes car. And this kind of circles back to like what we were talking about with John Cena. Is if you love a car, for whatever the reason, it can have a shit ton of horsepower, it can have 200 horsepower, or what have you. That's what car enthusiasm should be about. It should be finding what you like, and the reasons don't really matter.
Right.
And finding like-minded people, and that's how communities are formed, and that's how like I said, I will say this, and I will die on this hill, that there's no better community out there for automotive groups than the Volvo community, hands down. Every other group I've been a part of has been like 60% good, 40% bad. Mustang group's pretty good, but there's a much larger segment of the the douchebags who are, when someone asks a question, they go, use the search function, or that's been asked to death, just look it up, use Google, like this, that. Or
Yeah.
like someone has an idea and someone's like, yeah, that'd be great, but it's impossible because blah, 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 blah. I'm smarter than you are.
Right.
But like,
And those people exist in the Volvo
but
community,
not at
but
the
they're few and
same
far between.
frequency.
They're few and far between.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about it. And that's, like I said, that's the thing I'll take. That's why I would consider getting back into Volvo, just because the community's so strong. It's just,
Right.
like I said,
I think there's a nice balance in the Volvo community. It's small enough that it has much more of a close knit feeling than like your general group. I guess the Mustang is a good version of that, because there's so many Mustangs and so many Mustang enthusiasts, which is both a good and bad thing. Good because you have a large knowledge base to draw from. Bad because you get a bigger percentage of douchebags. But you also see that in smaller groups. Like when I had the Aston, you go in the Aston V Advantage groups, and like it's like 90% like just my shit don't stink douchebags because because I drive an Aston. And then the other 10% are like the true enthusiasts because, oh, bye, Chad. Chad's gone. He just left. He didn't want to hear what I had to say. Yeah, he just left. Also, let's be honest. We're going to get the next batch of stars to get Chad a new chair. Because now that he's gone, I'm going to roast that thing. Look at that chair. Look at that chair. We need a new chair for Chad. Look at that. Look at the sad state of that thing. The armrests they look metal. They don't even look like fabric anymore. You just left, and it was just nothing but your chair. And I was like, the next batch of stars, we need to get you a new chair. It looks like you don't have armrests anymore. It looks like it's down to bare metal.
Oh, it's not bare metal. It's just whatever the pleather is.
I know.
Gone.
Oh, I know what it is, but it looks like bare metal.
I mean, you should. See, the funny thing is, you should see, like, I have faux hardwood floors, and
Justin with the first donation of $2 towards Chad's desperate need of a new chair.
Hey, it does the job. But like flakes of the leather pleather stuff are like on the floor, and if I roll over it with like the wheels or something,
oh man,
it's now like embedded in my floor. Oh shoot, chat. What's going on in my chat? All right. Mark wants me to
But anyway, to finish off my previous thought, like you get like so many like douchebags that just buy the car that because it's like a status symbol. You see that in like my dream car, my attainable dream car. Hopefully in the next 5 years is like a Jaguar F-Type. You see that in the F-Type groups. You see it in the Aston groups. But like Volvo's a really nice balance of like not a ton of like dickheads, the right amount of enthusiasm, but you don't get the same draw from like in a volume sense to like be able to have just that 60-40 split. It's more of an 80-20 or even 90-10 split of like good to bad.
Yeah, and it to me there's a lot of a sense of, you remember the old like I'm gonna blank on the word, but like that whole thing, it's like, you may like the band now, but I liked them before they were cool. Like mentality to it, like so, like. But I think real quick before we get back to chat, I think you need to stand up and show us your chair.
Oh well, my chair is mobile because I'm in my garage. So like it is a folding chair, right? I mean, it's literally just a Costco folding chair. But like my chair upstairs is just a normal like desk chair you'd find in any office building, and it's that like mesh material, and it's very comfortable. But yeah. I will be again once taxes are done. I will be purchasing a new chair because I'm still working from home. It's been 3 years now, so like I'm not going anywhere. So I need a better chair. So I'm gonna buy like an actual gaming chair, like a good gaming chair, hopefully with my taxes that I don't have to give the government, and just also write that off as a business expense.
Justin wants to go Lamborghini Miura MR2.
Lamborghini Miura MR2. Well, wait, how are we combining that?
Well, the Miura V12 is transverse.
Oh, yes, that is true.
But someone would literally light your car on fire for.
Oh yeah,
Not that Miuras didn't do a good job of that on their own. But to sacrifice a Miura V12 in an MR2, whoo boy.
Yeah, that would have to be one hell of a Miura crash to destroy the entire Miura, leave the engine intact, and then transplant that into an MR2.
Yeah, on the topic of communities, try surviving the divorced dad midlife crisis Corvette community. I can only imagine, but I'm pretty sure if you just send like some New Balances to the group, they're pretty good.
Yes, or jorts.
Doug says,
or high ankle champion white socks.
Yeah, Doug, it's the underdog mentality. Found the same thing when he was heavily involved in the AMC community. Good community when everyone is against you. Yeah, that's sort of us against the world mentality. Mark loves the second gen Dodge Ram Cummins. Does not love the second gen Dodge Ram Cummins community. I'm assuming there's a lot of Alabama in that.
Yep.
Yep. And Mark. For Chairs for
Both
1,000
stars.
Thank you, man.
For Chairs for both. Look, all right. Let's be honest here. I'm not rolling out a desk chair every Monday into my garage. Just saying.
I think you should do the whole stream from the driver's seat of the Polestar.
I could. Ooh. Find a wrecked Polestar, get a seat, and make a chair out of it. I would be down for that very much.
I'm sure we could get our friends over at Northern Bell Customs to actually make it for us if we got the chair.
I bet you we could.
Or the seat, I should say. It's not really a chair if it's
the
a car.
Yeah. All right. Next time. Oh, first off, thank you, Mark, for the 1,000 stars. We will utilize that to get Chad a new chair first because mine's folding and it's mobile and it's why I'm in my garage. So we're good there. The other side of that is if we can do it and I can find a wrecked Polestar or a wrecked P3 of some kind, I will see if I can grab. Thank you again, Mark, for the 200 for the Polestar chair bonus. But I will try if I can find a seat out of a Polestar or equivalent P3 R design or whatever with like a nice seat. I will 100% make sure that I grab one of those and turn it into a chair for you guys for sure. I will make that happen.
Yeah, that sounds.
Nate's saying there's a wrecked one on the forums.
Ooh. You could get 2 seats. One for you and one for a lucky member of the shift squad.
Oh, that would be a hell of a kickback. I gotta be on that. Full transparency, the shipping on that would be detrimental to our bank account.
I mean,
that would probably be the amount of making the chair in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of just getting it this one's maybe we sacrifice a less special Volvo seat for this, but we get one that's just plastic instead of you know how like the GTI did plaid for the seat inserts down the middle.
Oh yes,
we just get the Greg sticker.
Oh no! We don't need. What's the pattern on sweaters where it's not chevron, but it's that like other.
Oh, Argyle.
No, not Argyle. That's plaid.
Houndstooth.
Houndstooth, yes. It'd just be me as Houndstooth pattern.
We need to get you a blazer like that.
Ultimate Shift Squad kickback. Oh my god. All right. Well, look, here's the deal. If I can find it, thank you, Doug. Yes, Houndstooth. If I can find it, I will try to get 2 seats out of a wrecked Polestar or equivalent. Like I think Mark said, the R Design seats are pretty much the same seat. But I'm just talking about like just a nice P3 seat. If I can find a wrecked car and get the seats out of it for relatively inexpensive, I'll get 2 of them. I'll make one for me, and we'll make another one for anyone in the Shift Squad, and we'll do a random drawing and give it to one of you guys. Yeah. Merch idea: Shifting Lanes chairs. Jack, get on that. I don't think Streamlabs offers a chair option.
They might.
I don't think so. That'd be great if they did, but I don't think so.
I'm actually looking.
Oh my god! You keep looking. I'll be right back. I gotta. These kids are not cooperating tonight.
Oh, they are your children.
That's accurate.
I mean, they're not taking after their mother right now. I can tell you that. Greg is a flag. That could be interesting. Greg. I'm just picturing it. You're just watching a NASCAR race, and it's just they show the flags. It's the American flag. It's their favorite driver's flag, and then it's Greg. That'd be great. Let's see here. Home living. Let's see here. Don't have that, but we could make a Greg pillow, so you could just. I wouldn't do that to anyone. Accessories. Let's see here. Masks for days. Embroidered patches. Let's go. Upload. Oh God. Alrighty. Greg-faced futon, yes. Big ass Greg flag. Set it up at Carlisle so we can all find one another. Maybe you just get something on the shirts that just, if found, return to this guy. And it's just a picture of Greg. the Greg, like the Trump flags. I love it. Great idea. Our designs on Copart. Go review your choose, Greg. Let's see here. I got sidetracked. Hey. I should probably stop paying attention to that right now. We talked about the futon and stuff like that. But, yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff we could actually do here. Greg branded shorts. Just Greg right on the package. To warn any of your lady friends that disappointment approaches. Anywho. Creator sites. Anyway. What are we talking about? I think the chair idea is actually pretty killer. It'd be interesting to get it in such a way that it's got like the actual correct recline, or if you just make it fixed, almost like a racing seat, and then have it on the swivel that like my chair has. This thing's pretty dang comfy. It's got a lot of hours of use and gaming and streaming with you guys, editing videos, all that sort of stuff. So I don't want to hear any more flack about my perfectly suitable chair. A Greg-faced couch. I'm glad someone that tolerates my disappointments. Hey, if you go deep enough, we've all disappointed someone at some point in life. Might as well just embrace it. Can't please everyone. Be yourself. Come hang out with Shift Squad. They're good people. Not a paid promotion. Or is it? Nope, I'm definitely not getting paid to say that. Maybe I am. Hey, Greg's back. So Greg, we were talking about putting your face on banana hammocks.
On banana hammocks? Wow, this really devolved while I was gone.
I said it would prepare their lady friends for the disappointment to come.
I like that Doug paid you 100 stars to say that to me. or saying something to me that was offensive. That was very offensive, but worth it.
Christian asks, wow, I've not scrolled through chat in a second. 4 years, wife material. Nice. Chad, have you ever played Gang Beasts? No, and I've never heard about it. Greg, Google it.
No thanks. I don't want to be put on an NSA watch list. I'm fine.
Let's go to the computer.
I'll stick to Pokemon. I'm good with Pokemon. Mark, refill your juice, Greg. I have plenty of it here. It's always full with multiple cans of juice next to me. I make sure that that's set up before. My children are just being ornery. We're also
okay.
We're also still trying to potty train my my youngest. He still can't hold it through the night, so we're trying to like check him, make sure he like pees beforehand. So we're doing like the routine of, you know, one of us checks at like 10:30, the other checks at like 1:30 or 2, and we're good. So hopefully in like a month or two he'll be able to hold it through the night, which is good for our sleep. But yeah, that's sort of like that's the level we're at right now.
NSA lash lists aren't so bad. Oh, so this is to Christian. Dang it, what the heck's that? I forget the name of the game, but it reminds me of the... God, it was huge on all the streaming platforms for a while.
Was it an FPS?
No, it's like you're this little like blob kind of... Shoot, what the hell was that game?
You're this little... Wait, you cut out on my end. You're this little what?
Oh, the fall. Shoot. Fall Guys. That's what it is. It reminds me of
Fall Guys. Yeah. Still huge, by the way.
Yeah.
Tons of people still play that.
Yeah, well, it was crazy. I was watching, not that this is a video game stream, but I was watching some of the, so Fortnite just launched this massive thing. It's called Creative 2.0. And effectively, you can build any sort of environment you want using the Unreal Engine for Fortnite. And
ooh, nice. Unreal Engine is sick.
So like it's huge. So like they made this like beautiful looking like almost like God, the brain is working real well at the moment. But like the graphics that they made like a COD, like a domination and like COD style map. And like the graphics were not Fortnite-y at all except for the characters, which you can't edit yet, but you should be able to down the line.
Nice.
But it like the graphics were insane. It wasn't that cartoony style that Fortnite has. And I'm just sitting here thinking about it, like some indie developer that was just waiting for like the infrastructure, like that didn't want to build something from scratch. Like it's huge. It's massive for game because like you could go in there and with like an hour's worth of tutorials start building your own Fortnite map or whatever. It's actually pretty.
Wow, that's sick.
And I'm just sitting here.
That's crazy.
And I'm just sitting here the other night, like, man, COD hasn't fixed like half of the stuff that annoys the crap out of me about it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be brutally honest with you. The reason I play COD is that it's not like an Apex or even a Halo where it's overly futuristic. And I don't necessarily like some of the mechanics in that, but I like the mechanics for the most part in COD, especially Warzone. But like PUBG and all these other ones, it's Superhumans or whatever the crap it's called, or Super People or whatever. The graphics never were quite there. It felt like I was playing a video game from like 10 years ago. But I'm telling you, man, if people can build their own, there's some crazy talented people who are like, yeah, I could do this, and they're gonna build a game, and these creators are getting paid too. They could build a game out. It's like, hey, it's COD, but doesn't suck. So like,
yeah.
That said, I still love COD.
That would be quite lovely.
You know, so any of you out there who have aspirations of being a video game designer, you no longer have an excuse. Do it.
Yep, you have the tools.
I mean, honestly, you have the pictures of Greg. If I do not see that on a Fortnite skin.
Oh, God. No one wants to see that.
When they allow you to
Nobody wants to see that.
Because they were also talking about like this AI where you could take like 3 pictures and instantly have your character. Like, just crazy stuff. Like, which is also mildly
that's nuts.
But
terrifying, but also nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the next, I don't expect it to do any big things for the next 6 to 12 months, but like in a year, 2+ years, people are going to come out with stuff, and it's going to be like, wait a minute, this is we've all been asking for the game. Here we go.
True, very true.
Yeah, I figured out how to make a shitty phone app to make money through ads. Just be unique. Here's the thing about apps. I don't pretend to be a developer. I'm not a developer. I played around with C++ when I was in 8th grade. Haven't touched programming since. But if you look at some of the most successful apps outside of the social media apps, what do they all have in common? They take advantage of how lazy we are. Grubhub, DoorDash, we don't want to go out and get our own food. I'll pay someone $12 to bring me my McDonald's. You know,
and there's a McDonald's right down the road for you.
Absolutely. I have literally ordered stuff from the Wawa, which is literally across the river from me.
Yeah, that's accurate.
You know, but figure something that people are lazy about, and then just all you have to do at that point is network. Bring the people who are lazy and the people who and then the people who are actually, I could do this if I get paid enough. Bring them together. Boom. Profit. Doug goes with Twist, which I'm guessing is That's What She Said. Joke's on you. That used to be the name of my golf team and softball team. The Fios router's acting up. Okay, there we go. But yeah, if you want to profit, figure out a way to put in effort to make people take advantage of their laziness. Like, that's I mean, and even social media is that's in a sense, right? It's like, I don't have to call Greg. I'll just, hey, Greg, how you doing, on his wall, or comment on a picture of
it,
or, you know,
messenger.
Exactly. So like, you know, if you can figure
out,
I
don't have to hear Chad's voice. This is wonderful.
And yet he does it every Monday.
It's so abrasive. I do it for the fans, Chad, not for us. I tolerate your voice every Monday for the fans.
I don't know. I'd like to see in chat whose voice is better suited for voiceover work. This sultry, smooth, bassist tone, or Greg's, I don't know, a fox having sex with a cactus tone.
Or this one. My voice is so great.
Reached a point of the stream where, we're no longer talking about cars, and I have no qualms about it.
Oh, man. That's right. That is accurate.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman's voice, yes. And then...
Doug, Chad's microphone is better. It's almost, as opposed to using either the mic on his camera or the mic on his AirPods, I actually got a legit studio mic.
Very sweet.
But as long as Greg's not on my computer, it works.
Hey, look, I still maintain that. So here, we can do this. It was Google's fault because I was remoting in through Google, and Google decided to shut that down. So I don't think it was either of our faults. I think it was Google. I blame the company that employs 150,000 people yet still act as a startup.
To answer your question, why does it have LED coloring? Because I literally Googled best budget streaming microphones, and 99.9999% of all streaming gear is gamer focused. So I
Bright
figured
lights everywhere.
Shifting Lanes Garage / Shifting Lanes 2 / Shifting Lanes Live color scheme is red, so we went with it. Not that you can actually see it ever, but here we are.
It works.
I mean,
I wonder if that mic would work in my garage, really.
it would absolutely work because, like, so one of the things you can adjust it. So, like, on the back of it, I'm holding it and looking at it, and no one can actually see it. So you can adjust the direction of it. You can have it omnidirectional, which would pick up a lot more echo.
Oh, nice. So it can be actual, like,
And
directional.
then you can have it more directionally focused at you, and then you have like so you could set it up for gain. So once you figure out a good distance away from you and everything like that. I haven't tested it in, say, like, my garage, but you're still probably going to get some echo because you're surrounded by hard surfaces in a relatively, all things considered, large space. But it'll
Right.
more than likely be better. But it's one of those things where, like, you gotta lug it around, bring it out, and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, is your audio quality that completely awful?
Yeah, I mean, it's not horrible, but it can be a lot better.
Right, and what they're hearing is literally which mic are you using?
I'm using the mic on the camera, not the AirPods. The AirPods one sounds like I'm talking through a fish tank.
Right. But you're just getting reflective. So, like, large flat spaces. The other thing to do, which is probably not as cost effective as testing out microphones, is to put the textured sound deadening in the garage to muffle echo.
Yes, that would be probably a bit more invasive. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get a new mic.
I mean, well, you could also. I mean, I know they're repainting and redoing the walls and stuff in your garage, but there is paint that also, if you go with like a more textured paint, sound waves can get lost in it and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, because all the texturing helps with that.
It just deflects, instead of the sound doing like this, it's kind of like ding, 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 and then it comes out, less comes out.
Yeah.
Just put some foam up in the garage, Greg.
There you go.
It's a lot of foam. A lot of foam insulation.
So much foam.
Doug has an 80s microphone just because it looked cool in a new wave music video. Can't make too much fun of you. So, I mean...
There you go.
And like, not only do so I got the mic with the sole purpose of it being for the streaming side of it. And I was still actually recording videos in this, like, intros and stuff for actual other videos. But the other upshot is, and I don't think I have it handy, but the mics that come around here just pick up way too much of my existing noise, whether it be stuffy and breathing, whether I'm eating and that sort of sounds. Chad over here talking about studio sound like he's not also just in a room. I'm in a much smaller room.
It sounds a lot better than my giant echoey garage, that's for sure.
And and also I have things like a couch, stuff that absorbs sound in it. I mean, it's not. Let's be real. It's not a full-fledged studio. I'm hoping. Well, let me put it this way: the next house I end up in will have provisions for a more pure studio style. Something where I actually have a ton of like decorations and stuff I would love to hang up. But as you can possibly see, let's just do this. As you can see, I don't have a lot of space to kind of hang that stuff, and it's my den. The kitchen is behind me. It's an area that's trafficked, so hanging stuff up at the risk of it falling is not exactly. Oh God, it's not something I'm overly keen in. Mark's not here for the sound quality. That's pretty much what we go for every week. But
damn straight. He's here for the Greg memes. That's the only reason.
If we can continue to meme Greg, I'm totally okay with it.
I'm cool with it. Make me a meme lord. I'm down. Why not?
I think the hold on, where is it? This. I think this needs to be how we cool car, bro.
Oh God. Oh, please no.
Just so you know, you have 19 days left to purchase this.
Once again, please do not purchase that.
And
that's not me saying like, haha, don't purchase it, but actually purchase it. Don't actually purchase that. Don't do it. It is a waste of your money. Hey, Justin, it sounds like a challenge. I'm still waiting in Shift Squad for other memes of that picture. Doug is the only one that's put one up. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. No one's gone to the task. Oh, and we've got Inception. Infinity Inception once again.
I'm okay with it.
So many screens. Just let it keep going until... There we go. Wait, Steve, you put one up? I didn't even see it. Do you still have it? Put it up again. I totally missed it. Did you see it, Chad?
It's you with moist.
Oh, well, that doesn't count.
It's a meme.
I mean, it counts. But we need. Well, first off, we need more creativity than moist. We all know the word moist is going to make me just. Bleh. This is gross. But I need more. I need more. Oh no, I don't like the face you just made.
Greg.
Also, what happened to your pop collar merch? Is that happening after?
Yes, when the limited time Greg line leaves. Limited time. There's 19 days left to get the Greg merch.
That's the goodgolf.com equivalent of the spring drop.
Exactly. Mama didn't raise no idiot.
Oh God damn it! Boys, I hate you all so much. You guys are both the best and the fucking worst. The absolute worst. Moist.
Dang it! I lost my train of thought.
Well, you just went. Oh.
I know. I had a great idea how to meme you, and then I forgot.
Oh, nice. Clearly the best meme idea ever, and it didn't work.
It was hilarious. It's just, my brain is purified goo at the moment. So, Craig,
Doug, can you tag the SL account in that, please? I missed it. See, here's the biggest problem with Shift Squad. It has nothing to do with you guys. There are so many freaking notifications on Facebook from all the reels we post now that I cannot keep track of the notifications from Shift Squad. There's got to be a way to put them top of I'm looking at it right now. There's got to be a way to put them at the top of notifications feed, even when all these other stupid comment and whatever notifications. I wonder if I could just remove the other notifications, because most of them on Reels we don't either respond to or whatever, just because they're not as important to respond to as the Shift Squad stuff. So I'm wondering if I could just tweak the notification feed a bit to be able to see what you guys post a bit more.
Christian asks, is Hanson ever going to come back to the stream? The short answer to that is maybe.
Probably
But
not.
not anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know, how do I?
It's not a bad thing.
Not.
It's more of just like he's utilizing that time to like edit videos as opposed to just being
right. So like the short version of it is that Hanson handles Shifting Lanes 1, soup to nuts. You know, he writes the script, he films, he edits, he posts. While Greg and I do all of our own stuff, Hanson isn't real.
Mark, stop. Hanson is absolutely real, but he's not real. That was probably the funniest comment ever.
It's just, which is less of a total workload than doing, say, all the vlogs and stuff for Shifting Lanes Garage, plus doing this stream every week. So like, it's a divide and conquer. Like,
right.
We have 3 guys, and we create a ton of content. He's just AI. Should I just ring Hanson just bleary-eyed like, what? First.
Also, holy shit. The one that Steve posted actually on March 22nd, I did not see this. It's really good. If you go to Shift Squad, it's fantastic. It's probably the best one so far. It's the first post. Just go to Shift Squad and just look at the first post. It's so good. It's really good.
Nice.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Computer, stop being Greg. I mean,
hey.
Where's? And now Shift Squad's not coming up. Lovely. Greg, discuss things. Groups.
Discuss things? I'm not good at that.
That is a good one.
That is really good.
That is well done. Steve made that? Nice, dude.
Perfection. That is really good.
I like how he even photoshopped you into a V70 or V70.
Yes, I like that I'm in the cartoon V70R.
Yes,
that's just fantastic.
That just sounds like a really bad. All right, guys, get to it. Let's make Gregson
the next level.
Using only these pictures. Gregson the cartoon.
I like it. I'm down.
Gosh, what the hell was I gonna do? It's really a book. Whatever. My idea, Doug helped. Nice. Shift Squad coming together to mock Greg. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, if it is all about having fun, I'm down for the mocking.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Bunch of guys hanging out. I mean, it's kind of what guys do.
I was just gonna say, like, this is literally just extended high school at this point.
Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Which is all guys ever. We had a girl in
Shifting Lane's first conspiracy theory. That's great. It's like, the Shifting Lanes logo is not really green and black or green and white. It's actually blue and yellow.
I think we had a version of that logo pitched to us.
Yeah, I think you're right. Thank you, 99 Designs.
Oh my gosh. All right. Eventually it'll come to me. Then
Oh no. Well,
yeah.
On that note,
yes.
I think it's about that time because it's been about almost 2.5 hours, and so we got some homework to do for next week. So I have some stuff to report back to you guys on for the TDI box, and to see if I can flash back to stock to see how the car is reacting. Also, for those of you guys that are watching now, and it's not a ton of you, so I'm pretty sure most of you are in Shift Squad. The Shift Squad group. I'm gonna post tomorrow hats from Queensboro.com. I'm just gonna send like a general link, and if you guys want to poke around in there, I'll send a couple of suggestion hats for like, here's a like basic trucker hat, here's like a fitted hat, and that kind of stuff. So you guys can kind of like pick and choose and do what logos you want. Like we'll cover the cost for those hats to give you guys. So that's like one of the first like merch kickbacks we wanted to give you guys. That's like sort of a free of charge thing. So when you guys pick which ones you want, we can then build each of them like to your own liking with what hat you want, what logo you want. So that way you guys can get each one. And I'll tag the group so everyone can kind of see it for whatever hat you want. So keep a lookout for that if you're in the group. And I think that's it for now, honestly. But it's the TDI box information for you guys, and I'll get you guys some hats in the supporter group for sure.
The Gregson hat is what everyone.
Nope, that will not be one of them. We will not be building that. That is
I could do that right now, like literally.
I know. And I don't want. And I
Gregson
don't want
wearing a hat on a hat.
Oh God. Oh, that would be. Look, I like supporting us. Excuse me. I like supporting
Christian.
us. That would be the biggest waste of money, literally ever.
Hatception.
Shirts are funny. Stickers are funny. Me holding a hat on a hat is a bad call. Don't ever buy that. That was a terrible decision. Hatception. Yes. It would literally be hatception. This, on this, not a fan.
I could put it on a beanie.
Oh yes. That's actually more appropriate. Because on like a baseball hat, that would look just hilariously stupid. All right. Anyway, the end. Oh God! Please, how did you do that fast? God damn it! You and your stupid Streamlabs wizardry.
It's so easy. I could merge anything.
I don't like. All right. I like how fast that was. I don't like how fast that was with me.
Just make this a little larger.
Oh man. On a damn mug, Craig said. Yes, but that's usable, Steve. You could actually drink something out of that.
I do think
this hat is just like me on a hat, which is like, cool, I wear it once, and wow, this was a waste of freaking money.
The problem is I do think that you are too complicated.
Justin adds to cart. Oh, Christ.
Awesome.
Anyway,
guys.
We're leaving it there.
Yes. Thank you again to our Ride or Die crew, Shift Squad, everyone in here.
That's right.
Very Spaceballs.
Thanks for
yes.
sticking around, guys.
Gregson, the baseball hat. Gregson, the beanie. Gregson, the flamethrower. The kids are going to love this one.
Excellent Spaceballs reference.
But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you, Greg, for being a good sport as always.
Of course.
And with that being said, guys, we will be back next week. And